So now we're working on part 2. This is the second day that we're working on this. Make sure that you have your clear ruler that's included in your art kit and your drawing pencil, preferably the 4B, or it could be one of your layout pencils. Doesn't matter. Okay? So we're now working on part 2. And what does part 2 entail? Well, we're going to include some elements like, recessed doorways and windows, telephone poles or light poles, all the little details that are going to make your neighborhood look realistic, okay? We left off with having built our structures on both the left and the right hand side. We used the singular vanishing point along the horizon line for our guidelines for the top of buildings that are facing the street and for the bottoms too as well. Our sidewalks, divided line for the traffic lanes, and we also shaded the sides, the facing sides towards us of these buildings too as well. Now, we're going to learn a little bit about recessing certain sections here for doorways. Now, what we're going to do is just using our horizontal lines here. Remember, they're straight across because we're only using one vanishing point. Our horizontals are going to be straight across. Our verticals will be straight up and down. I'm going to do a little recessed doorway here by just drawing a horizontal line here and then making a corresponding vertical line here so that this looks now like a three-dimensional kind of recessed doorway. And then what I'm going to do for the angle of the doorstep area inside the door is put my pencil here in the vanishing point so I can use this as kind of like an apex here for rotating my ruler. Okay, a little central here. And then just draw a guideline down. So now the inside of my door kind of looks three-dimensional. Okay, can you guys see that? Let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so do that right now. Recess the inside of your door. I'm going to do a corresponding kind of the same kind of thing with these windows too as well, like these display windows. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line, just like that. I'll do that 1, 2 as well down, and this window as well. Horizontal line inside. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. And then I'm going to use that same guideline coming from the vanishing point to create one singular angle for both those sections so that they're on the same level. I'll take this, pull up a vertical line here, and a vertical line here. Just like so. Does that make sense, guys? And those are for my windows. My display windows in this storefront here. Okay? All right. We're going to do kind of like the same thing here on these windows on the top. But because we're now working above the horizon line, the angle is going to be going up. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a vertical line here, a vertical line here, and a vertical line here. And we're going to go straight out, pull in there, another straight line right there, and then one right there. So now I have a recessed area inside the window. Darken these guidelines. Now I'm going to use one singular angle coming from that vanishing point to create the inside of those windows, the top of the windowsills, kind of recessed inside there. See? So now we're working on the right-hand side. We will move over to the left-hand side too as well. I'm not going too fast, am I, guys? No. Skylar's shaking her head no, right? Right? I'm not going too fast, Skylar? Cool. Okay. Now, one thing I want to also show you guys is how to do writing. So we're leaving this as kind of a sign for the store, right? So the one thing that I want to do is kind of figure out text. And what I want to do is I'm going to put a light middle line here, which is going to kind of represent the middle of the letters I'm going to make. So I also want to leave a little bit of space. I want to use some guidelines at the top and on the bottom. So I'm going to have this. So here's the thing. With lettering, it's going to get larger over here, smaller over here. I'm going to make this a pet shop. I'm just going to fill, because it's so small, I'm just going to fill this in with tone. Pet. And I also want to angle my letters. So they're going with the angle. But my verticals are going to be, again, straight up and down. Pet shop. But notice how I use those guidelines to guide where everything goes. And this is a real basic way to do this, but effective. I'm just going to fill these in, give a little thickness. Okay, so I got a pet shop, I got apartments above there. Cool. I want to give a little bit of a windowsill here, so we'll just block that off. Shade that, give that illusion that there's like a little still. Okay. All right, now, say this is like we'll just make this as a little glass door with one of those horizontal openers. So again, using that vanishing point as a reference point, and then vertical lines just straight up and down, and then shade that in. That's from a distance. Okay? All right, now we're gonna go over to the left-hand side here. We're gonna make this kind of a recessed door too as well. I'm going to determine how thick that recess is by just drawing that horizontal line in, maybe that thick. I'm gonna make this like a garage door. So my horizontal and my vertical. Okay. Ruler moved. Good. It's okay. So there I have my recess. Then I'll come in here, coming from that vanishing point, I'll line it up with the corner that I wanted to bisect and pull down. Over here too as well. All right, so then I have a recess, and this is going to be a garage door. So here's the thing. I'm going to put little marks of how thick I want the distance between each one of the ribs that's going to be in my garage door. And I'm going to have these points that I'm making intersect with that vanishing point. That's going to be my marker. So I go to the vanishing point where I want my line to be, rotate down, and that way I know the distances between the ribs, I guess you might call it, the ribs of the garage door. Little slats, right? Ah! And I blocked myself. Let me just erase that. Mistakes, they happen. Ah! I don't know why I keep doing that. Fix that later. A lot of filmmakers would say, "We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post." You don't have that ability to fix it in post. Okay. Line it up and draw the line. This takes a while sometimes, but it's okay. So, guys, progress reports go out on the 17th, which is next week, if you can believe it or not. That is the week right before Thanksgiving break. Isn't that crazy? Okay. There's my garage door. Fix this real quick. All right, now, there's my garage door. I'm gonna do a little shading. I'm gonna go over here, do a little shading too as well. So then we're gonna go over here, do the same kind of thing, recess doors. 1, 2, so I do the horizontal line and a vertical line, shade that. Then come up here to my vanishing point. Draw my line. Maybe make this standard door with a knob, right? And a little shading. Same thing here. Just a little bit of a recess. We're getting really small and minute here, so I'm not gonna make it too detailed. Maybe this is a restaurant. Sign here, erase these marks, these guidelines. little triggered. There we go. Let's figure out what we're going to have our sign say. I wonder. Reflection of the glass. And the closer things are to that vanishing point, the less detail we're going to see, you know. So I'm just putting in some values here. Just call this a cafe or something, maybe. Kind of a guideline for the middle letters. I'll just do a Seinfeld thing and just call this coffee. Whereas in Seinfeld, they have a place just called restaurant. I'm choosing value, so I'm just gonna shade the letters. Coffee, pet shop. Nico, you already packing up, bro? Are you done? Or are you going to your dad's? Okay, that's fine. One of my littles is dipping out already. So notice how I'm just going through and just adding some smaller details for like the windows here. There you go. Maybe I'll do a sign up here. These would be windows. Quite the industrial little part of town, except it's got a pet shop and a coffee place. And what more could you need in a little neighborhood but a pet shop and a place to get a good cup of joe? All right. Some details here, recessed windows. Just slightly recessed. All right. Now, doing some text. Reverse engineer this. Maybe this is cars. I know this is the most boring text script or whatever, but keep it simple. Okay, a couple other things that we want to add to make this look more realistic, like a real neighborhood. We'll include, maybe on this corner, down here, or down here. Yeah, how about down here? We'll do a street light. Just like so. And then from that same kind of angle, we can figure out like, oh, how far away the next one needs to be, or how tall the next one needs to be. And that's going to be pretty tall. Think about it. From there, all the way out there. So we know the next one's going to be around this tall. So put that like right here. Same thing. Right there. Put one. Maybe we only need one on each side. I don't know, but let's just play around with it. Maybe it's down here. Yeah. So on and so forth. Right? Okay guys, that is going to be part 2 for right now. What I want you to do is continue working on this at home on your own. I know I went a little bit fast, but you know, the principle is there for you guys. Go through, shade, make your neighborhood work, add text, some signs and things like that. Add some details to your neighborhood to make it look a little bit more realistic. And we're gonna continue next session working on 2-point perspective. Okay.